30 seconds away from game time. The team's getting ready down there on the field. It'll be Yaya Jupiter against Layla Chambers. Chambers enjoying their pregame ritual of cabbage and having an Americano before the game to get pumped up. Jupiter, meanwhile, is over there moshing with a macchiato. So good for them. And the game should be starting right about now. So let's go ahead and refresh the page because that seems to be the way to get it to display. And we are underway here in Kansas City. The Worms against the Breath Mints for all the marbles. The winner of this game moves on to the ILB Finals, and Geraldine Hunt will be leading things off for the Worms. Hunt going after the first pitch and a line drive. That's going to be a base hit for Ohio to start things off. They get their leadoff batter on, and that'll bring up Sigourney Bluff. So a good start for the Worms. We'll see if they're able to take advantage and get a run across. And Sigourney Bluff with a ground ball. That one's fielded by Boat Hamless, and they will get it over to second base and get the out there. Just one out on the fielder's choice. And Vice Provolone will step into the batter's box for the Worms. Provolone, a very good batter in the regular season. Pretty much all of these Worms are great power hitters. The lowest on the team had 19 home runs. So they are just very good at driving the ball. And Chambers will have to do their best to keep the ball in the ballpark today, as Provolone has worked a nice hitter's count here and will draw the walk on 3-1. So the Worms now have 2 on with just 1 out, and that'll bring up Zagreus Zetterling, a wonderfully named player. What? No, not Mark Trumbo. Ignore this other announcer. I don't know who that is, but they've taken control of the microphone here at the Meadow. Oh, and Jade Schweinsteiger got up there when I wasn't paying attention and has grounded out to end the inning. So the Worms, they threaten. They get 2 on with just 1 out, but they are unable to push anything across, and we will go to the bottom of the first. Still a 0-0 ball game. Shea Yoshida will lead things off for the Mints. Yoshida has been just terrific since receiving party time infusions halfway through the season. Has been one of the Mints' better power hitters and hitting one high in the air and deep to center field, but Anik McGee will have plenty of room to catch that, about 15 feet in front of the warning track. And here is Soledad Snyder stepping into the batter's box for the Mints. Snyder had a big home run in Game 4, helping the Mints pull ahead late. And quickly, a good hitter's count for Snyder, 2-0, and here's the pitch from Jupiter, missing the strike zone again. So there's Jupiter with the erratic pitches, and Snyder going after the 3-0 pitch and hits a ground ball. Jane Schweinsteiger makes the easy play, and so that'll be the second out of the inning for the Mints. An ill-advised swing there on 3-0, and Ooze Dolan all over the first pitch, and that's going to be a base hit, a single for the Mints. And now Boat Hamless will step into the batter's box. We'll see if Boat swings even. Oh, Boat does swing, and that's a ground ball. Anik McGee stepping in front of it, and will go the short way to get the out at second base, and that's the inning. A quick inning for the Breath Mints. Surprised to see Boat Hamless swinging at the first pitch there against Yaya Jupiter. What are you going to do? We move to the second inning, and Connor Williamson will lead things off for Ohio. Going after the first pitch, and it's a ground ball right to Big Tarkanian. We'll wave everybody off and step on first base for the first out of the inning, and that'll bring up Malachi Jazz. Statistically, the worst batter in the Worms lineup, but was able to hit the go-ahead home run back in Game 2, eventually resulting in the Worms' victory. But Chambers is ahead in the count, 1-2 now. And swing and a miss, strike 3. Chambers sends him down on strikes, and that's the second out. And that'll bring up Jaeger Quark. Just some really wonderful names on this Worms team, if I do say so myself. They're all very fun to say. And Quark looking at a couple of balls from Chambers. 2-0 count. The windup, and that one missing low. So a 3-0 count now on Quark. And they will go after a pitch and foul it off. A little bouncer down the third baseline foul. And ball 4 as Chambers misses. Trying to go upstairs with the fastball and get him to chase, but no dice. And Anik McGee will step in with a runner on first base and 2 outs. 2-0 count now on McGee. Here's the pitch from Chambers, and it's in there for a strike, 2-1. And McGee hits a high bouncer, Ooze Dolan, right there to make the play, and that will be the third out of the inning. So the Worms get another base runner, but are unable to do anything with it, and we will go to the bottom of the second. And leading off for the Breath Mints will be Big Tarkanian, who is having just a fantastic postseason. Tarkanian will be followed up by Yuri O'Lantern and then Patrick Tagliatelle. Big will take ball 1. Big has a couple of triples, 3 triples, and 2 home runs so far in the postseason. They've been just phenomenal. And they are behind in the count, 1-2. The pitch from Jupiter, and swing and a miss, strike 3. I think Tarkanian chased that time, a pitch that was outside, but there's strike 3, and now Yuri O'Lantern will step into the box and go after the first pitch and foul it off, 0-1. Surprised to see the Mints free swinging here today, as there's a swing and a miss by O'Lantern. You'd think that they'd be taking a whole lot of pitches against a pitcher with ruthlessness like this. And there's a good look at ball 1 from O'Lantern, and now the count back to even, 2-2, as one misses high. The pitch from Jupiter swung on and missed, and O'Lantern is retired on strikes for the second out of the inning. Here comes Patrick Tagliatelle for the Mints, still with nobody on base. And Tagliatelle will take ball 1. A 2-0 count now. There's the organist. I was wondering where they went. And a strike right down the middle from Jupiter. 2-1 count on Tagliatelle. 3-1 now, as that one missing low. And Tagliatelle will draw the walk. That's ball 4. This is Jupiter, I think, trying out a knuckleball with limited success, unable to really get control of it. Very unpredictable pitcher, effectively wild at times when they are effective. And Basil Kramer hitting one on the ground. That's a worm burner to Vice Provolone. And that'll be the third out of the inning. So we will move on to inning number 3. Still 0-0 in this winner-take-all game. The ominous solar eclipse looming over the grandstand as Geraldine Hunt steps in to lead things off for the Worms, the top of the lineup here in the third inning. And Hunt behind in the count, quickly 0-2. As Chambers pounding the zone. And Hunt hits one right back up the middle. That'll be a base hit. A single for the Worms, and they have their leadoff batter on. We'll bring up Sigourney Bluff. Second single of the game for Hunt. And Bluff will try to knock him in. 2-0 count. Chambers checking the runner. Comes set and deals, and that one's fouled off. Up the first base line and into the crowd. 3-1 now as a fastball misses outside. And that one's a bouncer that'll find its way over the second baseman. Another base hit, and the Worms now have 2 on with nobody out. And Vice Provolone coming up to bat. A very good hitter. The .276 average on the regular season. Chambers will have to buckle down here against the heart of the Worms order. The count is 1-1. Chambers checks the runner, comes set and deals, and that was hit high in the air. Shea Yoshida retreating into the outfield to make the play, and that'll be the first out of the inning. The runners do not advance. Here's Zagreus Zetterling coming up for the second time. Excuse me? No, not Tyler Boston. I don't know who that is. They're not in this game. Can we get this guy out of here that keeps hijacking the microphone? Anyway, 0-2 count now on Zetterling. A couple of nice pitches from Chambers, but that one hit into right field, and that'll find its way through for a single. The runners will hold, and they will hold that runner at third. And now Jade Schweinsteiger, the best hitter in the Worms lineup, will come up with the bases loaded and just 1 out. Big swing and a miss. Now a 1-1 count. The pitch from Chambers, missing outside, 2-1. Nowhere to put Schweinsteiger, you've got to pitch to him. And a 3-1 count. Schweinsteiger, no doubt, sitting all over that fastball. Here's Chambers, and that one will miss high, ball 4, and so the Worms have the first run of the ball game. Geraldine Hunt coming in to score on the RBI walk from Jade Schweinsteiger. I'll bring up Connor Williamson with the bases still loaded and 1 out. 1-0 count on Williamson. Chambers. Oh, and a bunt from Williamson, but fielded well by the Breath Mints. They will get the out at home. Just 1, though. And that'll bring up Malachi Jazz, now 2 outs in the inning. And Jazz hits one deep into the outfield, and that'll one-hop the wall. The outfielder's converging on it, but Jazz hustling around second base, and that's going to be a bases-clearing triple for the Worms. 3 runs will come across to score, and the Ohio Worms take control in the third inning here. A big hit from Malachi Jazz, who has just been the Mint's kryptonite so far in this series. A couple of really big hits in clutch situations. And that has kind of broken the game open a little bit. The Mints will have their work cut out for them going forward. Jaeger Quark hitting a ground ball, a routine play for Big Tarkanian. And that'll get the Mints out of the inning, but not before they give up 4 runs. As Layla Chambers was playing with fire all inning long, and it ultimately came back to burn 'em. Mintz will send up Liv Blather to lead off the inning. Now, Blather has a huge advantage over this pitcher, Jupiter, because Liv will walk on just 3 balls instead of 4. And that Blather, hitting one high in the air, Malachi Jazz will settle underneath it and make the play. So the Mints continuing their free swinging ways. You get the sense that they're putting a little too much pressure on themselves, trying to hit home runs when just walks and little rallies will do the job. Shea Yoshida rolls over one and hits an easy ground ball to Malachi Jazz for the second out of the inning. That'll bring up Soledad Snyder. And Snyder goes after the first pitch and pops it up. Geraldine Hunt settling underneath it and making the play. And that'll bring us to the end of inning number 3. We go to the 4th with the Worms leading 4-0. And leading off for them will be Anik McGee. Well, it is still very early in this game. Plenty of time for the Mints offense to turn it around. They are really going to need to start coming alive, though, at some point. And some good pitching here by Chambers to get ahead of McGee. 0-2 count. From the windup, the pitch misses outside, trying to get him to chase, but no dice. And a fly ball, Basil Kramer will retreat and make the catch in the outfield for the first out of the 4th. Now Geraldine Hunt, 2 for 2 on the day. Oh, and there goes Chambers! Oh my goodness! Layla Chambers has been incinerated, and Geraldine Hunt is up now. Let's see if... I can't see who's pitching for the Mints. It looks like we've got a Kale Torch, and Kale Torch looks like a really good pitcher, but I don't even know if they're on the mound because it's pitching right now. It just says a dash. So I'm going to do an ill-advised thing here and try to refresh the page and see if that shows me who the pitcher is. Oh my goodness. Yes, Kale Torch pitching for the Breath Mints now. Well, 2 outs in the inning and Sigourney Bluff batting for the Worms. Perhaps a huge turn of events as Breath Mints fans all over singing a sigh of relief. Let's take a look at Torch's forbidden stats here really quick and see if they're any good. They do have 3 pitching stars, but that might lie to you. Looks like they've got .73 ruthlessness, .93 overpowerment, and .63 unthwackability. So this is a very, very good pitcher that the Breath Mints have just had handed to them here in Game 5 of this series. Could that potentially be the turning point in the game as Uz Dolan on a 3-0 count hitting a fly ball out to Vice Provolone? And that'll bring up Boat Hamless now. The Breath Mints, great cleanup batter. My goodness. Well, rest in violence, Layla Chambers. As they were gesticulating out there on the mound, very frustrated with themselves after giving up 4 runs in the previous inning, as Hamless has drawn a walk here. And the umpires were having none of Layla Chambers' shenanigans. Goodbye, Layla. And now Big Tarkanian will come up to bat for the Breath Mints. With Hamless on first base and a 2-0 count, the Breath Mints in desperate need of a rally here in the 4th inning, down by 4 runs. And a 3-0 count for Tarkanian. And Tarkanian hits one back up the middle. That'll find its way through for a single. So the Mints are in business here with 2 on and Yuri O'Lantern coming up to the dish. O'Lantern has been very good so far in the playoffs. Yuri was the most average batter in the entire league during the regular season. 1-1 count on Yuri. Boat Hamless taking off for third base. I was just about to say, Boat looked like they were chomping at the bits to steal out there. And they now will put runners on first and third for O'Lantern. And O'Lantern hitting one high in the air and deep into the outfield. Zagreus Zetterling retreating to the track and will make the play. That'll be easily deep enough to score Boat Hamless from third. So the Mints are on the board, 4-1 now. And Patrick Tagliatelle will stride into the box for the Breath Mints to try to add to some of the damage. And Big Tarkanian taking off for second base, and they will get caught. So it is illegal for Big. Unable to steal the base there, and that'll be the last out of the inning. We move to the top of the 5th with Kale Torch pitching for the Breath Mints, and Vice Provolone will step in there for the Ohio Worms to lead off the inning. It's the first time we've seen an incineration on Todd's Night Blaseball. I'm very excited about it, especially because we got a good pitcher out of the deal. We'll see if Torch is able to hold it down. They're going to need to limit this potent Worms offense, but so far they're looking pretty good with a 1-2 count on Provolone and a ground ball, a routine play for Basil Kramer, the first out of the inning. That'll bring up Zagreus Zetterling. And a foul ball, an 0-1 count. 0-2 now is Torch pounding the strike zone with some powerful fastballs, and a swing and a miss. Strike 3 on Zetterling. A strikeout for Kale Torch. Up there throwing some heat. Now that'll bring up the best hitter on the Worms, and Jade Schweinsteiger goes after the first pitch and hits a single. So with 2 outs, the Worms will have a base runner, and here's Connor Williamson. Torch back to pitching out of the stretch. Comes in with the changeup, and that one misses outside. 2-0 count. Torch, a swing and a miss on the fastball. You get a sense that the Worms are not caught up to it. As Torch is out there throwing a whole lot harder than Layla Chambers was. Now a 2-2 count, and a swing and a miss. Strike 3 as Torch blew him away with the fastball. You love to see it. The Mints getting a very sizable pitching boost. We move to the bottom of the 5th, and the Mints down by 3 will send up Patrick Tagliatelle, and going after the first pitch once again, and that's a ground ball out to Jaeger Quark. Somebody's got to tell these Mints to be a little more patient. I think they're swinging a little too much. They are pressing very clearly at the plate. Take a cue from Boat Hamless. Take a couple of pitches. And Kramer, ignoring my advice, goes all out and hits one deep. And that's a bouncer. It's going to two-hop the wall. And that'll be a double for the Breath Mints. So they've got a runner in scoring position with just 1 out in the inning. And Liv Blather up to the dish. And Blather, aggressive again, hitting one high in the air. That's a pop-up, a can of corn for Zetterling, and that'll be the 2nd out. Here's Shea Yoshida now. First pitch is in there for a strike, 0-1 count. And that one missing inside, 1-1 now. Pitch from Jupiter, and it misses high, 2-1. 3-1 now is Yoshida finally showing a little bit of patience. And that one fouled off. Hit hard. If Yoshida could straighten that one out, that could be extra bases, but instead, they will hit one high in the air and fouled off. Up the third baseline, and Anik McGee will make the catch to end the inning. And so that'll bring us to the top of the 6th now, with the Breath Mints running out of time. They've got just 9 outs left, and they need to score 3 runs, but they've got the great pitching of Kale Torch to get behind. So Malachi Jazz will lead things off here for the Worms in the 6th, and they will lead it off with a single. That's a bouncing ball that'll find its way through the infield. The Worms have their leadoff runner on. Here's Jaeger Quark. Swinging at the first pitch and missing, 0-1 count. Torch checking the runner at first base. Malachi Jazz is a threat to steal, and that's going to be a ground ball fielded by the Mints, and they will get the out at second base. So fielder's choice, and that'll bring up Anik McGee. I forgot to check Torch's coldness. It's probably pretty low. Assuming, their name is Torch. They're probably not very cold. But yeah, I'm not sure how this pitcher performs with runners on base, is what I'm trying to say. 2-1 count on Anik McGee. Torch checks the runner and fires and misses. Ball 3, 3-1 now. One fouled off, and we've got a full count. Pitch from Torch, swung on and missed. Another strikeout for Kale Torch. Once again on the fastball. Torch is having a very effective performance throwing fastballs high in the strike zone, getting these Worms to just flail at it as they are not ready. And Geraldine Hunt hits one right back up the middle. Snow Wisp is telling me that Torch actually has pretty good coldness, 684. So yeah, Torch is what a fantastic random roll. The Breath Mints finally getting good luck off of an incineration, and a ground ball from Sigourney Bluff. Shea Yoshida makes the play. That'll bring us to the end of the top of the 6th. And the Breath Mints have 9 outs remaining, and they've got to pick up 3 runs. Here's Soledad Snyder. That always throws me off. It says the wrong batter there for a second. But yeah, Snyder will lead things off for the Breath Mints. And getting ahead in the count. Now swinging at strike 1, 1-1. Pitch from Jupiter is in there for strike 2. Yaya Jupiter showing much better control today than they did all regular season long. Good take there from Snyder to even the count at 2-2, and strike 3 called. A good pitch there from Jupiter on the outside corner. Catching the black, and that'll be the first out of the inning as Snyder is down on strikes. Here's Ooze Dolan taking a look at ball 1. 1-0 count, and Ooze hits one on the ground. That's an easy play for Jaeger Quark. That'll be 2 quick outs for the Breath Mints here in the 6th, and that'll bring up Boat Hamless. Boat drew a walk last time up and came in to score the only Breath Mints run of the game so far. And picking up right where they left off as they are ahead in the count, 2-0. And Hamlis hits one hard on the ground, but that's right at Jaeger Quark. And that's a 1-2-3 inning. The Mints are retired in order, and we will move to the 7th, with the Worms trying to close things out here, trying to add an insurance run or two. Vice Provolone will lead off against Torch. And fouls off the first pitch, 0-1 count. Torch missing high with the fastball, 1-1. 2-1 now is once again they come back with that fastball. And now 3-1. It's Provolone showing good patience up there for the Worms. And that'll be a walk to lead off the inning. Torch has allowed the leadoff runner to get on. You never want to walk the first batter of the inning. We'll see if the Worms are able to capitalize. Here's Zagreus Zetterling, the runner on first and nobody out. Taking a look at ball one as Torch has suddenly lost the strike zone. And one fouled off now, 1-1 count. And another one misses the zone, 2-1. How would you feel if you were Cale Torch out there making your ILB debut in such a high-stakes game? As Zetterling hits one on the ground, that's a slow bouncer, and they will field it and make the play at first base. That'll advance the runner over to second, and that'll bring up Jade Schweinsteiger with a runner in scoring position and a chance to do some damage. Schweinsteiger has been limited so far in this series, but is the best hitter on the Worms and hits one high in the air, a pop-up. Boat Hamlis will camp out underneath it and make the play. That'll bring up Connor Williamson with 2 outs and a runner on second. Torch trying to work out of the jam. And has fallen behind in the count. 2-0 after a couple of fastballs, couldn't find the zone. Now 3-0 is Torch looking a little wild all of a sudden here in this 7th inning. The pitch, and Williamson will draw the walk. Well, that's fine. That'll bring up Malachi Jazz. This is the worst Worms hitter, so perhaps a tactical walk there from Torch, and right on cue, Jazz hits a pop-up. A big Tarkanian will wave everybody off to make the play, and that'll end the top of the 7th. So Torch allowing the leadoff walk, but no damage comes of it. And we will go to the bottom of the 7th with the Breath Mints. Wait, I think I did the math wrong earlier. Now they have 9 outs. They have 9 outs now. The 7th, 8th, and 9th innings to try to pick up 3 runs, and Big Tarkanian will lead things off here in the bottom of the 7th. Tarkanian showing some patience. Ahead in the count, 2-1. And a strike in there, 2-2. The pitch fouled off back to the screen. 2-2 count. And Tarkanian hits one high in the air into the outfield, but plenty of room for Vice Provolone. Makes the play, and that's the first out of the inning. What a pitching performance by Yaya Jupiter today so far for Ohio. Pitching like they want to make it to the ILB Internet Series. Yuri O'Lantern. Things are starting to get a little dire here for the Mints. They absolutely need some base runners, and O'Lantern showing some good patience. A good hitter's count, 3-1, and a swing and a miss at a good curveball there from Jupiter. That'll work the count full. And a knuckleball misses, and O'Lantern will stroll over to first base. The Mints have themselves a base runner, and that'll bring up Patrick Tagliatelle. Patrick has been so clutch all postseason long. We'll see if they're able to continue that performance here. Fouls one off, and there's a line drive into the outfield. That'll be a base hit, and they will hold O'Lantern at second base. So the Mints have the tying run at the plate now, represented by Basil Kramer, one of the better hitters in the Mints lineup, going after the first pitch and hits it high in the air, but that won't be deep enough to do any damage, as Geraldine Hunt makes the catch for the second out of the inning. That'll bring up Liv Blather now. Blather taking a look at ball 1. Ball 2 now, so Blather 1 ball away now from taking a walk. And they will foul one off. Liv, what are you swinging at? Why are you swinging? Don't do that. And there's the walk. Blather taking the knuckleball high. They stroll over to first base, and now the bases are loaded for Shea Yoshida. Yoshida, the life of the party for the Mints, going up against Jupiter, the life of the party for the Worms. And a quick knuckleball misses the zone. 1-0, and Yoshida fouls one off. A big swing from Yoshida. You get the sense that they are trying to take the lead here with one swing. Pitch in there for strike 2, and swing and a miss. Strike 3. Yoshida is down on strikes, and the Mints threaten. They get the bases loaded, but can't push anyone across in the bottom of the 7th, and we will move on to the 8th inning. And Cale Torch keep the Worms off the board here. They've been so clutch. ever since coming in for the incinerated chambers. 1-0 as they missed the zone. And that one bounced on the ground. A big hop for Big Tarkanian. An easy play, and they will record the out at first base. Anik McGee coming up for the Worms. And another first pitch grounder. That one's going to go to Soledad Snyder. Another routine play for the Mints, and quickly 2 down here in the top of the 8th. Geraldine Hunt will step into the box for Ohio. Swing and a miss at the first pitch. Torch with the curveball that misses. And Hunt pops one up. Boat Hamless over in foul territory will make the catch. So a 1-2-3 inning. The top of the 8th. Cale Torch looking in control out there. We will go to the bottom of the 8th. Now would be a very good time for the Kansas City Breath Mints to come alive. Perhaps this organist, I'll turn him up a little. Maybe that'll help the vibes. Soledad Snyder will lead things off for the Mints and will be followed by Uz Dolan and Boat Hamless. 1-1 count on Snyder. Jupiter misses with the knuckleball now, 2-1. The pitch, and Snyder hits it right back where it came from, a line drive into center field. And that's a base hit, and exactly what the Mints needed. They've got their leadoff runner on, and now hopefully Uz Dolan won't ground into a double play. Instead, they'll just pop it up. Okay, so Uz makes a quick out, but it's not as bad as it could have been, and that'll bring up the great Boat Hamless. Unflappable Boat, drawing walk after walk all postseason long. And now ahead in the count, 2-0. Boat with such a casual batting stance up there with the bat on the shoulder, hasn't even moved since this at-bat has started. 3-0 count now, and Boat is on with a walk. I tell you, Boat Hamless, the patience of a Jedi. And now Big Tarkanian will step into the box representing the tying run for the Mints. Ahead in the count, 1-0. Jupiter's got to get it together out there on the mound. Can't afford to be walking too many more. And as I say that now, it's a 2-0 count on Tarkanian. Jupiter checks the runners, throws the knuckleball, and that one misses in the dirt. A good stop by the catcher. 3-0 now, and Tarkanian is on with a walk. So the Mints are in business. They've got 1 out, and the base is loaded, needing 3 runs to tie things up. Yuri O'Lantern could take the lead with a grand slam. The pitch from Jupiter misses high, ball 1. Jupiter has now thrown 9 balls in a row. And there it is! Yuri O'Lantern with a no-doubter deep into left field, and the Breath Mints have taken the lead here in the bottom of the 8th. Can you believe it? It's Yuri with the grand slam to give the Mints a 5-4 lead, and now it'll be all on Cale Torch to see if they can shut down the Worms' offense. What a turn of events here in the bottom of the 8th. Yaya Jupiter had been so good, but gave up just too many walks as Patrick Tagliatelle has grounded out for the second out of the inning. And Basil Kramer stepping in now, representing, or trying to add on some insurance runs for the Mints, who are alive. They have come alive here in the bottom of the 8th. Exactly all according to script. Jupiter looking a little shook out there on the mound, behind the count to Kramer. Trying to find the zone with that knuckleball, and Kramer is all over it. A line drive into left, that's a base hit. And Basil is on. And now Liv Blather will come up for the Mints, trying to add to that lead. Talk about iconic Mints postseason home runs. Yuri O'Lantern etching their name perhaps into Mints lore with a home run that could put the Mints into the Internet Series. Blather up against Jupiter here, and they will draw a walk on the 3-ball count. That always catches me by surprise. That'll roll the lineup over to Shea Yoshida. Still, oh, Yoshida with a blast into right, and that one is gone. No doubt about it. The Mints have put up a 7 spot here in the bottom of the 8th. A 3-run home run from Shea, the life of the party. And the party is really getting started here in the meadow as the fans can start to feel the energy. It's all but assured now that the Breath Mints are going to the Internet Series. The Breath Mints have never lost an Internet Series. And Yaya Jupiter trying to just close out this inning here with Soledad Snyder at the dish. And there's strike 3 called on a good knuckleball from Jupiter. But the Mints score 7 runs in the bottom of the 8th. And we will go into the top of the 9th with our suddenly amazing pitcher, Cale Torch, who I couldn't be happier about. What a turn of events. What an unbelievably lucky roll as well. And Sigourney Bluff going after the first pitch, and there's a home run for the Worms. The hubris, perhaps, a little too high. We're flying a little too close to the sun. I can feel my wings melting off as we speak. Speaking of melting, here is the very melty Vice Provolone stepping in for the Worms. And quickly down in the count, 0-2. Torch just going after him with fastballs. And Provolone all over it with a drive deep into the outfield, and that'll find its way to the wall. That's going to be a triple for the Worms. So they have a runner on third now, and here's Zagreus Zetterling. Things are getting really interesting here in the top of the ninth. It looked like the Mints were going to have no chance, and then it looked like the Worms were going to have no chance, and now Zagreus Zetterling has flied out for the first out of the inning. But here's Jade Schweinsteiger. I keep reminding you, is the best hitter on this Worms team. Schweinsteiger in German means pig sticker. And 2-1 count. It's Kale Torch trying to find the zone with that fastball. Get the sense that they're kind of pitching around Schweinsteiger as that one's fouled off. 2-2 now. Torch trying to put him away with the slider, but that misses the zone badly. 3-2. And Schweinsteiger bounces one on the ground. Hamlis gets it and doesn't even think about getting that runner at third. They will just get the easy out at first. And so 2 down. The Worms, they get a run. It's 8-6, but they are down to their last out. This is it. Connor Williamson striding to the dish. Kale Torch, it's all on your shoulders. Torch. Pop up! Basil Kramer calling everybody off, and that'll do it. The Breathmints have won 8-6. An amazing comeback victory. A huge grand slam off the bat of Yuri O'Lantern, followed by a 3-run home run by Shei Yoshida. The Kansas City Breathmints have won it 8-6. They have knocked off the Ohio Worms, and they are going to represent the Uptempo League in the Internet Series against the Mexico City Wild Wings. And I will see you there. I'll broadcast the whole damn thing, even if it goes to 5 games and I completely lose my voice again. I promise I won't fall asleep. I've had way too much coffee at this point. And I have won 10 votes for my bet on the Breathmints. So thank you so much for being here. I'm going to go compile a bunch of stats on the Wild Wings before the next series, and I will see you then. Fresh breath, here we come. Kansas City #1.